Hello there, friends and followers from around the world. This is Q8Pilot, your host for today's show. We are currently situated at Glasgow Airport, north of the UK, and specifically in Scotland. And we're going to be doing a short hop today to Edinburgh. It's about a 36 nautical mile flight, and hopefully we'll be able to expose some of the tips, and I can provide you with something useful during this stream. We're going to, of course, do all of that good stuff after we arrive into Edinburgh. We are going to be cruising today at about 3,000 feet. It is going to be an IFR flight, and right after we arrive into Edinburgh, I'm going to take all your questions and show you some of the tips and some of the settings that I have basically came to learn during the last few days. So welcome everyone to the stream, and I can see Frank is here, and let's see, Pilot Julie, Baron 82, good afternoon. And we have Stan on board. Welcome. How are you doing, my friend? All right, so what we're going to do in this video, we're going to start this Cessna Caravan from its cold and dark state. And it's actually a nice aircraft to fly. There are a few things that probably needs tweaking. Now the sound, if you're hearing the sound, you can see that the rudder pedal's kind of twitching there. I've set the dead zone for it, but it still kind of doesn't work very well. I think the sensitivity may need to be adjusted. Mixture will be on idle cutoff there. Marco, welcome, my friend. Christian, hello. Paul, welcome to the stream. Now, this aircraft is one I particularly like in X-Plane. I'm not sure if it was a Coronado aircraft, I think. I'm not sure. But this aircraft, in terms of its modeling, being a default aircraft, actually looks pretty good. I mean, you can look at the textures there, the details, the application of PBR. Really very nice looking aircraft, very well modeled. Looks pretty good. Yeah. All right, so here's what we're going to do. The first thing, I'm going to turn off the autopilot because we don't need the pushback truck. So we'll let the co-pilot manage the comm radios right after we start the taxi to runway 23 for departure today, I believe, according to the wind direction. Now, what I've come to know is actually Navigraph charts works fine with Microsoft Flight Simulator. If you have P3D installed, if you have the plugin for P3D installed, it will automatically work, and I will show you this also towards the end of the video. So let's go ahead and power up the aircraft, and the first thing we are going to do, we're going to make sure everything is in the cutoff and idle position. The batteries are off, and avionics and all our lights are off. So let's go ahead and turn on the battery. Battery is turned on, and the alternator is turned on as well. We are going to come up here and make sure the fuel tanks are selected, both the left and right. And we are going to set the mixture to about low idle right there, and prop full forward. And we're going to crack the throttle just a little bit here. And next, we can start the ignition and starter to on, and that should take care of it. We forgot our beacon and nav lights, so let's start those. Sounds are pretty nice as well. All right, let's go ahead and request, we are going to turn on our avionics. Avionics are on, and we're going to use the magic button B to set our altimeter. All right, let's see who's with us today. Welcome all the new joiners. Rand, hello there, my friend, and welcome TopCat56. Welcome to the stream. And we have Marcos Lobo from Brazil. Hello there, my friend, and welcome. All right. So this is our flight plan today. A straight line really to Edinburgh, and it should make for some interesting scenery. We're going to be at 3,000 feet, so we're not going to suffer from the blurry textures as we go to higher altitudes. So we will be able to see the beauty of Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm going to go ahead and engage the co-pilot now. Manage comm radios.
Glasgow ground, Cessna Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra.
Let's set the altitude to 3,000.
Cessna Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra is cleared to Edinburgh Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 23 climb and maintain 3,000 feet. Departure frequency is 119.875 squawk 0701. Cessna Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra cleared to Edinburgh Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 23 climb and maintain 3,000 feet. Departure on 119.
Yes, he will definitely ask for the pushback, but we're going to cancel it right away, so.
Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra rate back correct. Contact ground on 121.705. Glasgow ground, Cessna Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra requesting pushback. Cessna Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra pushback request accepted. Glasgow ground, Logan 489er IFR to Belfast ready to copy. Logan 489er is cleared to Belfast Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 23 climb and maintain 10,000 feet. Departure frequency is 119.1 squawk 4217.
All right.
Glasgow ground, Cessna Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra requesting the end of pushback.
All right, so we're requesting the end of pushback. Frames are pretty good. All right, so here's the first tip, guys. If you want to show, if you want to see the FPS counter, now it works a little different than FSX and P3D. And the way you do this is if you go to the general menu here and you go to developers and you turn this on. As you can see now, I have the FPS counter here, and the only thing you need to do is go to options and select display FPS. Now it does display the FPS, and it displays a lot of different things like the CPU memory, the GPU memory, about 5,000 gigs of the available 10,280 or something like that. So definitely, if you want to do some performance tuning, you can bring up the performance, the FPS counter there, and you can look at different, the threads and all that good stuff. So we don't need it for now. So what we're going to do is we are going to exit dev mode, and we're going to go back to discard and resume. All right, let's go ahead and turn on the taxi light. Taxi light is now on, and we're ready to go. This is not an add-on plane. It is actually one of the default aircraft in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So we are ready to go, ladies and gentlemen. And parking brake is released. And we're just going to give it a little bit of power here. I need to make sure. Ooh, that's too much. Not sure where we're going. All right, there we go. That's much better. I just really absolutely love the grass and the representation of vegetation in Microsoft Flight Simulator. All right, so I'm not sure if this is the right taxiway, but we're just going to taxi through here because it's a shorter way to get to runway 23. Frames are pretty good. I've actually used the ultra settings with just a minor tweak. But pretty much everything is on ultra in this video, or in this stream, beg your pardon. Hello from New York. Did you ever try Pilot to ATC? I've tried Pilot to ATC. Unfortunately, for some odd reason, it does not work on my machine. I've purchased it twice, and unfortunately just doesn't work. So I finally gave up on it. It's a very promising add-on, but I really am not sure why it does not work on my machine. Right, there we go. Now, by the way, guys, I'm not very proficient in flying this airplane, and I hope it doesn't do a lot of strange things. Like, I've tried it a couple of times last week, but then I think I've done the first impressions video was in the Cessna, so I wanted to do in the Cessna 172 or 152, I can't remember. So I wanted to give you guys something a little different here. We've done a lot of Airbus, so yeah. All right, here we go. We are going to hold short of runway 23. Now, one thing I've noticed in Flight Simulator 2020 is that the taxi lights are just kind of put all over the place. Not sure why, but yeah, it doesn't look very, you know, it doesn't look very right to me. All right, let's bring it to a complete stop here, and we're gonna turn on strobes, landing lights. Taxi can go off, and we're going to give it some light here. Let me remove the yoke. Just a little bit. Oh, come on. All right, we'll do this one. There we go. And now we can set the brake back. All right, so brake is released. And I'm not sure why the co-pilot doesn't want to request clearance, so we're going to tune into Glasgow Tower and request clearance.
Glasgow Tower, Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra at runway 23 ready for takeoff IFR to Edinburgh. Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra cleared for takeoff runway 23.
All right, that's our takeoff clearance, folks.
Cleared
Let's
for
go.
Takeoff runway 23 Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra.
Someone just landed here at Glasgow Airport. It doesn't seem, it does not seem that, it doesn't seem like the ATC regards any of the multiplayers, you know, when they come into land.
Glasgow Tower, Ryanair 2521.
All right, we're ready to go. Mixture on full rich.
Ryanair
And let's go.
2521, contact Glasgow approach on 119.1.
Now you got to be careful with the throttle here, so just increase it
Going to 119.1
slowly
Ryanair 2521.
until you reach. Otherwise, you could burn the engines. 80 knots. All right, we could have taken actually rotated at 70 knots. All right, there we go. All right, and we're going to begin a left turn to join the flight plan, or we could actually do a right turn. What do you guys think? Oh, that's my phone.
Cessna X-Ray Golf Sierra, contact
Let's put that on silent.
119.1.
There we go. All right, let's make a right turn here.
119.875 for Cessna X-Ray Golf Sierra.
And just
Scottish
look at that
Center,
scene.
Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray
Absolutely
Golf
gorgeous.
Sierra is climbing through 800 feet for 3,000 feet. Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra Scottish Center continue as planned. Altimeter 29.96.
Gotta watch our speed. We're looking good.
Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect vectors visual runway 30 approach.
right, let's
Maintain
ease up a
present
little bit
heading and
here.
altitude. Expect vectors. Visual runway 30 approach Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra.
A little bit of wind there. All right, we're coming up to 2,000 feet. All right, at this point, what we can do is we can engage the autopilot. And to do so, let me just zoom in here so you guys can see what I'm doing. What we're going to do is we are going to turn on the flight directors. Autopilot is engaged. We're going to make sure that this is on GPS. Nav mode is engaged. And then we're going to click on flight change. And now it should take us to 3,000 feet. And it should stabilize there. Just look at that scene. Absolutely gorgeous. Papa Tango, hey there. How are you doing, my friend? Yeah, the sensitivity of the control I've set, I still haven't hit that sweet spot. So we are looking good now. Let's let me adjust the map here. Actually, what I wanted to do is zoom out a bit here. There we go. That looks good. And we're going through the clouds here. Let's take a look at the external view. Just look at that. The movement of the aircraft against the air pockets is very, very realistic. If you look at footage of aircraft in real life, I mean, that's how they behave up in the air. And I was watching a video earlier this morning of a real pilot commenting and reviewing Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I've heard some really good things about, you know, the realism of the sim. Of course, there are some high points and some low points. The low points are extremely frustrating, especially for real-world pilots, apparently. But the highs are very high as well. So I think Asobo and Microsoft really set the standard pretty high there. Got a question. What kind of PC can I play with Microsoft Flight Simulator? That's the million-dollar question, my friend. Well, look, I think you need a capable machine. I wouldn't say that you would need... Ooh, let me watch my speed there. Let's reduce throttle. And we are going to also come over here and bring the prop control to about 80. Mixture control to about 80 as well. All right, that looks good. Okay, and we're going to continue now. 3,000 feet. We can take a look here. About 8 minutes and 25 seconds before we reach our destination, and hopefully the you know, we can do a visual on at Edinburgh because this weather doesn't look very good for, you know, we're not going to be able to see much if that's going to be the weather at our destination. Hey Q8, what graphic card are you using? I have the 2080 Ti. It works pretty well, I think, with Microsoft Flight Simulator. As you can see, it's pretty smooth. Really, no problems there in terms of you know, performance, unless of course you load up the 787 at London Heathrow. But there is actually a fix for the glass cockpit. I think it manipulates the refresh rate and it gives you massive gain in FPS. I've tried it. It works as advertised. I've gained maybe about 10 FPS or so just by using that tweak. After the stream is finished, I will be sure to provide a link to it in the description of the video. Oh, wow. Top Cat, thank you very, very much for your very generous donation. $100 from Top Cat. Thank you very much, Top Cat 56, that is. Thank you very much for your support to the channel. Really appreciate it. That is very generous of you. Thank you very much. I get the 3080, skip the 3070. Well, what I'm gonna, oh, thank you very much, Top Cat. Love your videos, learn so much. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your support to the channel. By the way, guys, all the donations made to the Q8 Pilot channel go for good causes. I have been a faithful donator to the American Cancer Society, especially for helping the advancement of cancer research for mainly for children. So that's normally where the money goes. In the past, I used to invest some of the money earned from YouTube to invest back in the channel, but I decided that donating the money to those who are in need is a better thing to do. So yeah. All right, let's see here. Joseph Gambino, is that right? Thanks. We'll be upgrading my graphics card to the GTX 1080 from the 1080 to the 2080 Ti. Yeah, I am definitely waiting for the 3090 to come out. That's the one that I would like to upgrade to when it's available. And let me go ahead and switch here to external view and just admire the beauty of Microsoft Flight Simulator there. You can see there's some turbulence, but the aircraft behavior looks absolutely gorgeous, just how it responds to the turbulence and the pockets of air. And that's what you actually feel in a real aircraft as well, especially the general aviation aircraft. You wouldn't feel as much of this motion in an airliner, but definitely in an aircraft like the Cessna Caravan or the smaller aircraft, you definitely feel it. But this reminds me of the Piper 28 when I flew the Piper 28 at Elstree in the UK. Definitely something very similar to what we see here, to the best of my recollection. Wait for the price, drop on graphic cards before buying. Yeah, I probably would wait a little bit. And my PC, quite honestly, is no longer a high-end machine. So, yeah, I'm thinking of actually building a new system. I still have a lot of the components I can reuse, but I'm thinking of a new motherboard, a new processor. But we'll see. I flew a Cessna 172 in California about 20 years ago. I'll tell you what, that makes two of us. Was it 20 years ago? Yeah, just about 21 years ago. Maybe more, maybe 23 years ago. I actually took my girlfriend at the time from Fresno, California. It was, I believe, Christmas time. And I took her, we chartered a 172, and we flew from Fresno, California to Harris Ranch. And we had some beautiful steaks there, and then we headed back to Fresno. It was a really pleasant flight, and the captain was a former United States Navy officer. And it was really it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, I think aging PCs have got to go. Man, look at this weather. I wish there were no clouds. I mean, guys, tell me if you want me to change the weather to clearer skies. Let me know, and that way we can probably admire the we can admire the ground a little better. But yeah, just let me know if you want me to change the weather here so that we can see a little. We can see the ground and we can appreciate the colors a little more. Just let me know. I'll be more than happy to change the weather. I think propeller is not working properly. There are a lot of things that are not working properly, but the good news is, folks, is that there is a patch scheduled to be released in about 10 days or so. So that is the good part. For high-end CPU, motherboard, and power supply, these are close to use for Microsoft. I will definitely provide you with all the details as soon as I have them. I haven't yet decided on whether I'm going to build a brand new PC altogether or, you know, upgrade the current one I have. But yeah, we'll see. Now, I do notice a little bit of stuttering, but the patch release notes promise some performance improvements. So I'm really excited about what they're going to bring to us in the next patch. Apparently, there will be a lot of updates to the general aviation aircraft, to the airliners, avionics, performance improvements, some fixes to the weather. Yeah, there's a big list of things to be improved in the next patch, and so I'm looking forward to it. I think this is a really nice scene there. Just look at that. Beautiful. There, that's a much better view. My uncle used to have a hangar up in Clear Lake. We used to paint people's aircraft. Oh wow, that must have been fun. Wow, yeah. All right, that's much better. You can see the Scottish landscape here. Looking very good. By the way, I've been to both Glasgow and Edinburgh many years ago. Lovely place to be, really. The family goes there just about every year. We own a property in Newcastle. Yeah, my wife and kids go there every summer. It's our summer home, if you will. So we do make some trips to the northern part where the weather is really cold, and that's what we enjoy, coming from, you know, 55 Celsius weather here in Kuwait. So we escape the heat normally in July and head over to the UK. It is hard to make or convert a plane in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I actually, this morning, Flight and Fun, who's a good friend of mine, has posted a video on how to convert them. Apparently, you can do so using Microsoft Visual Studio. I haven't watched the video yet, but it popped in my list of videos. So, yeah, apparently there is a way to do it.
Cessna X-Ray Golf Sierra, I have the runway in sight.
Yeah, I can imagine that there is a lot involved in doing it. All right, so that's our clearance. Let's go ahead and disengage the autopilot. Let's see here.
Heading 250. Tower on 118.705 Cessna
All right,
X-Ray
I'm going to go ahead and disengage the autopilot.
Edinburgh Tower Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra 4 miles east inbound visual runway 30 approach.
All right, 250.
Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra Edinburgh Tower. Cleared visual runway 30 approach. Altimeter 29.9.
And we can see the frames are suffering a bit.
Cleared visual runway 30 approach Cessna X-Ray Golf Sierra.
All right, here we go. Watch our speed. Tell you, the vegetation is one of the things I really like in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I also do like the procedurally generated buildings. I think they look pretty good. Right, 250, I think that's about right. And we're going to maintain about 2,000.
Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra.
I have no clue where the airport is at. But I would assume it's somewhere right over here. Trying to look there. Huh. I absolutely have no idea where the airport is. Let me see, what was the last instruction? Clear to land. Wow. Okay. Right, let's go ahead to, I think I need to go this way here again. Make sure the prop is full forward. Yeah, the airport should be... Oh, there we are. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go ahead and we're too high. So I'm going to idle the power here. And yeah. All right, that's the runway right there. Bit late there, but you know, we've made it. There we go. Still pretty smooth in terms of the FPS, I think.
500.
I'm not sure if that's the right runway.
170 contact Scottish Center on 119.875.
Should be. That's definitely not the correct runway. That's runway 24. But it will do. All right, and welcome to Edinburgh, ladies and gentlemen.
Easy 815, cleared to land runway 24. Follow the generic on final. Wind 234 at 27. Going to 121.755 Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra.
Yeah, the runway lighting were not visible at all, so I wasn't sure. I think it was the runway perpendicular to this one, but you know, that's
Easy 815, go around.
it was a bit strange, really. All right, I think we can go here now. It says no. All right, we're gonna just keep going until we find an exit. Let's take a look here. What's going on there? I think there's a turn there, so we're just going to turn there, and then I'm going to show you some cool stuff with the drone camera, especially for those of you who do not have like a hat switch, and so you want to use the keyboard to you know, to navigate through. And also some tips maybe for video creators, if you want to create some cinematics. You know, we're going to cover that in just a moment here as we make our turn. It was an alright landing. I wouldn't push it too much, but it was alright. Yeah. You know, it's kind of strange that the FPS sometimes suffers, sometimes it doesn't, and I think there is something that needs optimization, because the frames fluctuate from like the upper 50s, and then all of a sudden they drop down to like 18 and 20, and then all of a sudden spikes back up to 50 FPS. So there's something definitely strange about performance in general. So I think we can just bring the aircraft and park it here, and then we're going to take a look at some cool stuff. All right, let me bring the aircraft to a stop somewhere here. There we go. All right, parking brake is set, and we can turn off the mixture prop, and we can turn off the avionics and all the switches and all the lights. All right, so folks, any landing you can walk away from is a good landing. Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so a few things. Now, you can use your arrow, keyboard arrow buttons to move in this fashion, up and down. But if you click on Shift and the left, on the right arrow button, then you kind of, you can rotate around the aircraft. And of course, the same thing with the left button. So left and right will do this kind of motion. And then of course up and down, so you can tilt the camera up and down. Now if you do Alt, then you can actually move in this direction, so you can go forward and backward. Here you can see it here better. Let me just come over here. So Alt, as you can see now, I can go forward and backwards. And if you do Alt and Shift, no, beg your pardon, Alt and Control, then you kind of just pan through like upwards, downwards, and you can look at the back of the aircraft. So really, really cool to be able to do that without having to use a hat switch or anything like that. Another thing that, now because I have a hat switch, I can actually do this. I can go backwards and again, and then I can cycle through the different views. These are, of course, all preset views in Microsoft Flight Simulator for this aircraft. But you can achieve the same thing by clicking on Control-Shift-1, Control-Shift-2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I can't, let's see here, Control-Shift, and yeah, it doesn't want to do it. There we go, 2, 1, and that's how you can cycle through the different positions within the cockpit. So Control Shift, and then you've got 1 through 8 for this specific aircraft. So that's another thing that I found out to be very useful for those of you who do not have a switch, so a hat switch. Hey Dougal, how are you doing, my friend? Welcome to the stream. Yeah. So so that's another thing. Now there are two modes in. There's the cockpit mode. So this mode here is kind of like a free camera, where you can use your right mouse button and just kind of pan through and look. You can use the mouse wheel to zoom in and out, and then you can go to the drone. This drone camera here, you can use the numpad keys to tilt the camera up and down, left and right, and you can also tilt it that way, sideways. But also what's very cool, now if you click on numpad 4 and 6, you can see how the camera is moving, right? Of course, you guys know if you hit R, you go up. If you click F, you go down. But if you click on Control Tab, and then you click on 6, as you can see now, I can actually circle around the aircraft. Now this is what you've probably seen in, why is this still running? Hang on. There we go. Off. There we go. That's off. Now it should stop. Okay. So what you've seen in some of the videos where people kind of pan around the aircraft, let me go here. Yeah. So you've seen people panning around the aircraft, but this is kind of too fast if you're creating a video. So if you want to create like a really nice cinematic, that's really not going to work. So what you do is you come here to the drone camera, and then you can adjust the drone rotation speed. So if I take this here to about, let's say 1.7%, and now if I do this, as you can see now, the motion is much slower, and it creates for some very compelling visuals when you want to create a a cinematic. You can of course use the other numpad keys as well to cycle through the different views, and you can definitely go zoom in and out, or go forward and backward with the W and S buttons here. And you can also, by the way, adjust the speed of the drone itself. So the drone speed here at 4%, so we can change it to about 0.8. And now if I click on the W and S, as you can see, the motion is a lot slower, and but it looks pretty good. Yeah, if you're creating cinematics, that's the way to do it. So let me also show you guys what I've done with the settings for the video. Now, when I'm not actually streaming, and when I'm not live, I have a different settings, but they're not very. Let me just show you. So when I'm actually just recording a video, I have everything on ultra. When I am doing a live stream, I take the texture super sampling to 6:6. Normally it's on 8, and it does affect the FPS. But yeah, for streaming, the recording software, the Streamlabs OBS, does require a little bit of the horsepower available in the PC, and so it does bring the frames a little bit down, and so I compensate by lowering the texture super sampling. One interesting thing that I found out, and I've continuously tested, is that the volumetric clouds actually have no effect on FPS. And we're going to do this together here. I'm just going to go to General, and we are going to bring up the frame counter once more. And we're going to go back, apply and save, resume. All right, so now we have the FPS. We're getting about, what, 32, 31 FPS, something like that. All right, reasonable. Not, super, but reasonable. Now, if we go to the clouds and we set the clouds to few clouds, all right, just give it a little bit of time, and then you'll see that the frames go back to about the same. All right, so really not a significant drop in performance, as you can see here. Now we're going to go to, for example, scattered clouds, which increases the number of clouds. You can see the frames. Again, you experience a slight drop in the frames, but then it recovers again. It takes you exactly to the same FPS, which is about 32, 33 frames. And this is quite an involved scene now. There's a lot of clouds in the area. And we're going to do... let me take some of your questions there, if there are any questions. Sorry, guys, got carried away. Are you going to do a video on the VR? Do you mean VR mode? They announced. Well, yeah, I'm waiting for my VR equipment to arrive. So hopefully, once once the VR equipment is there, we'll be able to. Do some videos and some performance testing as well. I went to my house in-game, and my car is parked outside. It was refreshing to see my Mustang out there. Oh, a Mustang fan. Very nice, very nice. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I used to be a Camaro guy back in the days, and then I switched from the Camaro. I had a 1990... 93 Camaro. Sorry, beg your pardon. It was a 92 Camaro when I first went to the States. And then I traded that in for a 94 Z28 convertible. And after that, I got a 94 Corvette. After the Corvette, I went for a 97 Anniversary Edition Camaro Z28. And then I went for the C5 Corvette, which was, I'll tell you, that car is a beast. And at the time, that car was a magnet. It was a beautiful car. So I'm a Chevy guy by nature. Of course, now I don't get to drive these sports cars. I have a Chevy Tahoe, but I've kept the I kept the attachment to American cars throughout, and yeah, I love American cars. I especially love the sport utilities. So anyway, so what I want to show you guys is another thing. If we go from this one to, for example, overcast, all right? So this is something that, for example, in X-Plane would definitely bring the frames down. You guys can see here, nothing happens to the frames. Again, you experience a slight drop and then it goes back to where it was. And the same thing is going to happen if we select rain. Again, really, the frames are unaffected, as you can see here. And this is quite an involved scene. Let's go ahead and select storm. All right, so that's like the worst weather, right? This is like really crappy weather. And you can see the FPS is unaffected by volumetric clouds. So the fact is, volumetric clouds are optimized, and this is something I have a lot of appreciation for that Microsoft has done, or Asobo Studios have done very, very well in terms of you know, the clouds and the optimization. So you can see that it does not really affect your FPS whatsoever. It does require a little bit of you know, horsepower there in terms of CPU, but other than that, everything looks pretty cool. And that's look at the you can look at the reflection here. The raindrops looks fantastic. Yeah. All right, I'll take a few more questions. Dream is the 1969 SS Camaro with the orange stripes. Absolutely, that car is absolutely lovely. I love the Camaro. Owned a 94 Z28 and a 2001 Z20. Yeah. Yeah, those cars were the bomb during that time, I tell you. And it was definitely a lot of fun, you know, driving those cars. I got a lot of speeding tickets, I must say, but yeah, it was worth it. So, folks, this is really what I wanted to cover in this live stream. Unless you guys have any more questions about Microsoft Flight Simulator. By the way, folks, I just finished editing a video, and this is kind of, I'm letting you guys know, all the people on the stream, that I have just finished editing my review video of the Origami Scottish Aviation Bulldog. It's an aircraft that was recently released by I&I Builds, the same company that built the recently released Airbus A300. Of course, I'm not going to burn it. I'm just going to just wait for the video, but I'm letting you guys know here, sort of an exclusive for those who join me in my live streams, that the review video is coming very soon. And until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other. And I will see you all very soon. Thanks for tuning in tonight, folks, and take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye for now.